Graves of the Craving. In the story, it mentions the fact that the people were remembering the vegetables that they had back in Egypt, as well as the fish. And give a little bit of context right there. That was really something to remember. The vegetables, the cucumbers and the watermelon and the onions and the garlic and the abundance of fish in Egypt. It was fantastic. Those of us in North America can't even appreciate how good those things are. One person said it's like comparing a bad turnip to a delicious apple. That's the difference of how good this was. It wasn't the fact that they had good memories of that. It's the fact that in this case right here, they were to set that aside and to accept gratefully what God was providing for them. I like the part in the story where Moses said, I didn't give birth to these people. Why do I have to nurse them? God, if this is your will for me to care for these people, then just kill me right now. God ignores what he just said and sets up the system of him getting 70 men. And he told Moses, I will take your spirit and put it on them. We see this 70 men when Jethro talked to Moses about needing help. He got 70 judges. When Moses took a group of men up into the mountain to talk with God and have a meal, it was 70 men that he took up there. Now, here again, you have God talking about the 70 men. Were these the same men? No one really knows. It could be a mixture, some of one and of the others. But the interesting part is that years later, when the Jewish people set up the Sanhedrin, they made it 70 men. I'm sure that when they were setting up this ruling body, they said, well, how many men should we make it? I believe that they referred back to this story here and made it 70. Jewish tradition says this is actually the beginning of the Sanhedrin. I don't think that happened. I think there's too many things that happened between the two. But they at least referred back to this story. When God said, I'll put your spirit over the others, he wasn't taking Moses' spirit and dividing it up so that Moses had less. One person said it was like Moses had a lamp, and he went around and lit the lamps of all the others, but his lamp was still just as bright. So this is other people experiencing the same thing that Moses had, the same abilities. In this story, Moses, when God tells Moses that the next day there would be meat to eat abundantly and for a long period of time, Moses questioned that. How is that possible? Even if we killed all the cattle, there wouldn't be enough. I mean, there are 600,000 men that are military trained, much less all the women and children and all the others. How's that possible? And God said, well, you'll see. But later on, when Elisha tells the king of Israel, the northern kingdom, that tomorrow there'll be plenty of grain, well, the advisor said, that's impossible. Even if you open up the windows of heaven, there wouldn't be enough. Well, in that situation, Elisha said, you'll see it, but you won't eat it. He was trampled to death. And yet here, Moses basically saying the same thing. And God said, well, you'll see. Again, it reassures me the fact that God deals with each of us as individuals. The quail, as referred to here, is normally these come from Central Africa, and the entire flock goes into Egypt. But God is causing a strong wind to change their direction, and they come across the Red Sea, not the Gulf of Aqaba, but the Red Sea, and they come right into these people's camp. So there's plenty of meat for everybody. Well, come back when we give you more insights on the story.